Welcome once again. This is Pastor Larry coming to you once again with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. Hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. All right, we're going to get right on into our subject on today. Our subject on today is we're talking about one of the major things that couples tend to have arguments over, other than infidelity. We're not talking about infidelity right now. We're talking about the finances. That's one of the major things that most couples go through. It tend to be a lasting argument sometimes, and sometimes it can be a heated argument, and sometimes it could even break up a marriage. So we're going to talk about that on today. And I have some notes here. When couples are in a marriage, all their hopes and dreams are riding on that relationship. In other words, when you get in a marriage, you have high expectations of where the marriage is going to go, and where you want to go, and what you're looking, or where you're looking to go. You might have dreams of owning a house one day for the new couples, or you might dream of upgrading a vehicle, or even a fancy vacation or exotic vacation. You might have a dream to work toward, or vision to work toward on that. And your dreams and expectations are all riding on that marriage after you walk down that aisle. You want to be together when you walk down that aisle. You want to be on one accord. You want to be as one couple. I mean, it's two people, but you want to be as one. And we're going to cover some of those things and one of the major arguments, like I said, it tends to be in marriages is usually the finances. You spend more money than me, it's my money. Respect is one of the things that sometimes that's lacking in these arguments about finances. Someone might lose one of the parties might lose respect for the other, or they're not respecting each other. Respect is a major formula of the marriage. I know that there are a lot of independent women. You had your career before you got married, and after you got married, you might have got a degree or something like that, or you might have advanced yourself, which is nothing wrong with that. But the thing about it, though, the bottom line is that when you enter into a marriage, the husband is still the head. And we want to make sure, ladies, as you get, especially, I have to put emphasis on this, especially if you have a good spouse. If you have a good spouse that's, trying and not lying. Because you have a lot of brothers that lie a lot. But, you have a good spouse that, you can really trust, and, he's a good man, You don't want to make him feel intimidated, This is usually in the marriages where the wife might make more than the husband. A lot of times the husband might feel intimidated, which you shouldn't, and sometimes the wife might even make him feel intimidated, which it shouldn't really be happening, because you are one. Again, the husband is the head. Let me see what else other notes are here. Here's one here. Wives, when you have a good man, he deserves all the respect. Now, I'm not talking about those no good men. Now, if you in a relationship, or you happen to marry someone, and they're not, working with you, they're always working against you, that's a whole nother subject that we're going to be covering. And on one of these sessions, on one of the Wednesdays, we're going to cover what should you do if you're in a bad relationship. But right now, we're talking about spouses that have good, they started out good, and they having issues with money issues, which is a lot of arguments. After my wife and I first got married, we didn't really argue. We just had discussions on, and it was like a big hindrance, having those financial issues. But the thing about it, you have to learn to work through those things, and that's the moment that you should become closer in those moments, because it's not going to always be like that. It's not going to always be like that. You have to get to a point where you get past that. And usually, if you both are working together, you can get past that. Money, mine's yours. We just talked about that. In this day and age, most married couples usually sometimes the woman might make more than the husband. That should not be a intimidation. That actually should be a plus, because you're helping each other out. You're one. Okay, now. Why does the man feel intimidated? Sometimes a woman might make him feel intimidated, or it might be his pride that make him feel intimidated. Because a lot of us brothers, we have a lot of pride, because we've been, as black men, we've been through so much, and it seems like we're always being put down or labeled, oh, you ain't no good, But there are some good brothers out there, and you ladies that have these good husbands, please, by all means, support them, give them all the love they deserve, because a good man is hard to find, especially nowadays. And it's the same thing as a woman. If you have a good wife, make sure you're supporting her, even though she might make more than you or something. Make sure you are supporting her and encouraging her and lift her up. And the same thing with the husbands. Lift each other up. If you want your marriage to be successful, this should not matter who makes the most money and who does this and who does that. You know what? Because for one thing, if you think about it, if you each have a cup of water, the wife might have a full cup. Husband might have a half cup. If you two take those cups of water and pour it into the ocean, can you find that full cup of water that you put in the ocean? No, it becomes part of that ocean. The same thing with your finances. When you both are working together, he might have a half cup, you might have a full cup. When you put those into the household, into the household or into the marriage, it becomes part of the household. So it's not yours, it's not his, it's part of the household. And that's how you have a successful marriage. You work together, not apart. You don't, you lift each other up. You don't put each other down. You don't talk down to people, and stop remembering old crazy stuff. We talked about that before. People remember bad things, but good things, they tend to forget about it, especially when you're in an argument. You don't remember the good stuff. You just remember the bad stuff. And then you start bringing those things up. And a lot of times, especially, I think I mentioned before on doing one of these sessions, I try never to marry anyone unless I sat down with them and talk with them, because a lot of things can come out before you get married or before you walk down the aisle. We talked about that too in one of the sessions. Before you walk down the aisle, the things to look for and things to notice. But if you've had a lot of baggage that you're bringing into a marriage, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out eventually. So you have to make sure that those things are addressed before you get married. That's why it's good to sit down and have a marriage counselor. You don't have to go to a professional. Just see your pastor, or especially if I mentioned that before, especially if you have a pastor or that's been married a long time, you want to go and talk to them, because if they've been married a long time, they've been there and they've done that, they've seen this and they've seen that, and they can give you some good advice on how to get past things, because they had to work through it. They had first-hand experience. You don't want to go into a marriage where you just came out of a bad relationship with a no good man that didn't want to work or anything like that, and now you in a marriage where you're successful, and your husband, and he's doing his part. he's doing his part. He's trying. He keeps up things at the house, make sure nothing is broken. You don't have to call anybody or nothing like that. You know, you got a good brother. So if you make more than him and he, you know, he's making less, that should not be a issue or grounds for an argument. Argue with the folks that are crazy, the spouses that are crazy. Them the ones you. But if you have a good spouse, make sure your guys are lifting each other up. Let me see what else I have here. All right, moving right along on today. The reason why I'm addressing this is because I keep hearing it. I've heard it. Being a marriage counselor or family counselor, you hear this a lot where spouses or marriage couples get into it over finances, and even if they don't have the finances, why argue if you have the finances? What are you looking for? Sometimes if they don't have the finances, there's argument. If there's not enough funds coming in, and then if there's funds coming in, it doesn't matter where the funds coming in, as long as they're coming in. If it's not, you arguing because the funds come from this party, this side of the family, or this side of the marriage versus your side. It doesn't matter long as you are working together, and and again lifting each other up. Ladies, stop trying to run over your husband. And husbands, stop being one of those crazy, dominant. You don't have to be a male chauvinist husband. You have the male chauvinist husband, and then you have the wife, the one that wants to wear. How they used to say, wear the pants in the family. But everybody wear pants now. But anyway, they used to say the one that wear the pants, the wife that wear the pants, and trying to take over everything. Stop being like that. First ladies that want to take over everything and controlling everything. That's what it is, controlling. You have to stop trying to be a controlling person. Don't make plans without your husband. Make plans together. Because the worst thing to do is be put in an awkward position where your wife has made plans, you don't know anything about it. So, wait a minute, where did that come from? Or you make plans and she doesn't know anything about it. So we have to make sure that we're working together. And these arguments over the funds, over the money, sit down and talk about these things, not argue about them. Because when you start bringing up stuff and having these arguments, oh, you spend more money than me. Look at all of them shoes. And they start counting what the other person got. You got, look what it 4, 5, 6, 8 pair of shoes. You ain't got but 2 feet. Come on, people, make some sense. And a lot of these arguments are started again over finance, and those are what some of the biggest arguments you can have, other than something with infidelity, which we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into that as well, how to recover from that. So we're gonna be talking about that in some of the other sessions. But right now we're still talking about the financing and the family and the arguments that you have within those families. Marriage is not hard. We are, as couples, we make it hard. But marriage is not hard. We tend to make it harder than it actually is. And it's what we put into it. If we put a lot of love in it, you're going to get a lot of love out of it. If you put a lot of stress into it, you're going to get a lot of stress. If you put a lot of this is mine, this is yours, it's going to always be a conflict there. And you don't want to have that conflict between the husband and wife. Make sure that we are, again, I always stress this in a marriage, make sure you are working together. Because when you work together, you can go places. If you're always divided, he's going this way and you're going that way, you're going in 2 different directions. That's not a marriage. You should be going in one direction. Sit down and if you really love your husband, you can work it out. I'm telling you, you can work it out. It can be worked out. It just have to be some compromises. There have to be some backups, because a lot of times just because it's true don't mean you have to say it. And that's the same thing with a lot of pastors. It just because it's true does not mean you have to say it. And another thing, just because it's true, find the right way to say it. Because there's the right way to tell the truth or say something that's true, and there's the wrong way to say something that's true. And that happens with marriages and conflicts over the funds and stuff. There's a right way to say, you might feel intimidated. There's a right way to say that you feel disrespected. There's a way to say things. And if you put it out there the right way, it will not, I guarantee you, it will not come back as an argument. It'll come back as a learning tool for both of you. And this is a learning process. Nobody's been, a professional married person. It's no such thing as a professional married person. It's just like the same thing as being a Christian. You're not a professional Christian, or, where you don't make mistakes, or a perfect Christian. So people in marriages, don't make it seem like your marriage is perfect, because there's no such thing as a perfect marriage, just like there's no such thing as a perfect church. You have two people and you have a congregation. So there's going to be something in there, that can be worked at. That's why you constantly have to work at it. It's not hard. You just constantly have to work at it. Just because you constantly have to work at something, especially just for instance, if you're on a job, if you like your job, no matter how hard you work at it, it's still enjoyable. Just the same thing with a marriage. If you enjoy your marriage, you enjoy your spouse, sometimes it might get hard to work at it. Working at it, even though it might be hard work, it's not hard because you enjoy each other. Because you can look back and reminisce on the good things and the good times that you've had together. So these arguments with the money, sit down and talk about it, And if you were in a relationship where you had someone that was always spending up and you never got anywhere, let them know that, I was in a relationship that, didn't get anywhere because my spouse, spent up all the money, spent up all the money, and you weren't able to get anything. And now you notice that you're slowly starting to get somewhere. Your dreams are slowly starting to happen. Don't wait till you get to your dreams and then start, acting crazy with each other. What sense does that make? It makes some sense. You know what? You finally achieve what your dreams were. You got the houses and you got the cars, you got the decent jobs now, and then all of a sudden you start acting crazy with each other. That stop it. Just stop it. Just tell yourself that. But you know what? Stop it. When you get ready to say something crazy, tell yourself, stop it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Yeah, sometimes you have to bite your tongue, in order to keep the peace. And just when you're keeping the peace, you're not. That don't mean you're being a wimp. That don't mean you whipped, how they say it. Whipped. He's whipped. That don't mean that. Oh, what they used to say in the old days, he handpicked. No, that don't mean that. Just because you wash the dishes, just because you lend a helping hand to your wife, doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more of a man when you can help out with your wife and respect her. If she's making more, then you respect each other. If you making more, because if he was making more, you'd be walking around. I'm head. That'll make you the head of the house. So what makes you head of the household is keeping the peace. Because the women are the ones that run the household, but the man is the one that keep the peace. He's the one that can keep the peace, because even though the woman is running the household, the man is the one that sets the pace to keep the peace in the household. Don't bother your mama right now. She needs some time. Just give her a little space. That is the one that does that. So this is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off once again with Let's Talk Marriage. All right, until we meet again, this is Pastor Larry signing off with Let's Talk Marriage. Let's talk about it. I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed rest of the week. Remember, find a church on Sunday. Make sure you're attending church as a couple. All right, if you have any questions, have any comments, please put them down and contact Pastor Larry. All right.